You've been trained your whole life to believe results come only through force. Work harder, push longer, sacrifice more, and maybe eventually you'll get what you want. But if that were true, wouldn't everyone who works the hardest be living their dream life? Wouldn't endless struggle guarantee success? Look around. You'll see exhausted people everywhere, pushing themselves to the breaking point, yet still trapped in scarcity, broken relationships, declining health, and dreams perpetually out of reach. Force is not the answer. It never was. The universe doesn't reward strain. It responds to alignment. Think about it. When you tune a radio, you don't scream at the static. You don't pound on the speaker until it plays the song you want. You adjust the frequency. You align the signal. And once you do, the music that was always there suddenly fills the room. The song didn't appear because you forced it. It appeared because you tuned in. Reality works the same way. Your desired outcome, the relationship, the opportunity, the healing, the abundance, already exists in the quantum field as a possibility. But to experience it, you must collapse it into form. And collapse doesn't happen by shoving against the field. It happens by tuning into coherence so precisely that the outcome has no choice but to organize around you. This isn't mystical poetry. It's the quantum observer effect in action. In the famous double-slit experiment, particles behaved like waves, infinite possibilities, until observed. The moment they were observed, they collapsed into a specific outcome. Observation, not force, determined the result. Do you see the implication? The way you look at reality, the way you broadcast your signal, is the mechanism by which it collapses into form. Forcing is irrelevant. Struggle is noise. Alignment is everything. Ancient wisdom always hinted at this. The Tao Te Ching spoke of Wu Wei, effortless action, moving with the flow of the universe rather than against it. The Vedantic sages described Maya as the great illusion, dissolvable not by brute effort, but by seeing through it. Even the Egyptian mystery schools taught initiates to harmonize their internal vibration with the order of Ma'at, cosmic truth and balance, to shape reality. These traditions knew what modern physics is only beginning to rediscover. The field responds to resonance, not resistance. But here is the hidden truth you were never taught. The world runs on your belief in force. Systems of power benefit from you grinding yourself down, exhausting your energy, and doubting your own innate ability to collapse reality. If you knew that alignment, not struggle, is the secret, entire industries built on your dependency would crumble. They sell you effort because they know if you ever discovered the quantum trick, you would be free. So let me ask you a confronting question. How much of your life right now is lived in force? Where do you push when you should align? Where do you grip tighter the more results slip away? Maybe it's in your career, where you pour hours into work that never seems to bring satisfaction. Maybe it's in relationships, where you cling to love that isn't reciprocal. Maybe it's in your body, where you punish yourself with stress and strain, believing that health can only come through suffering. And what has that forcing brought you? A sense of control? Or exhaustion? Results that flow? Or a sense that the finish line keeps moving further away? Now imagine this. Imagine stepping back, releasing the grip, and shifting your signal instead of your struggle. Imagine tuning your frequency to the outcome already waiting in the field. Imagine life beginning to align in ways so precise, so effortless, that you almost laugh at how hard you used to push. This is what it means to stop forcing and start collapsing. And here's the paradox that will change everything for you. The less you force, the faster reality collapses. Because force is static, noise, incoherence. It scrambles the signal. But surrender to coherence, and the field has no resistance to mirror. This is why great artists say inspiration flows when they stop trying. It's why healers speak of miracles when the patient finally relaxes. It's why opportunities arrive the moment you let go of desperation. The collapse happens in the gap, the space beyond force, where your signal resonates cleanly. So as we go deeper into this journey, I want you to start noticing every place in your life where you are pushing instead of tuning. Because those are the places where the static is loudest. And they are also the places where, once you shift, the most extraordinary collapses will occur. Think of this as the first glimpse of the trick. The trick is not to do more, but to resonate more clearly. The trick is not to demand results, but to broadcast the signal of already being the version of you that has them. The trick is not to collapse reality by force, but by coherence. And the field will not resist you once you understand this. It cannot. So let's take this out of theory and into your life. Think back to a time when you were desperately chasing something, maybe a job, a person, an opportunity. You poured all your energy into it, thought about it endlessly, did everything you could to make it happen. And yet, the harder you pushed, the more it seemed to slip through your fingers. You sent the message, no reply. You went to the interview, silence. You tried to fix the relationship, and it fell apart anyway. Forcing not only failed, it often made things worse. Now contrast that with the moments when life flowed, when something just seemed to appear at the right time, with no pushing at all. You bumped into someone who offered exactly the connection you needed. An opportunity landed in your inbox out of nowhere. A solution to a problem arrived while you were in the shower, not grinding at your desk. Think about the uncanny timing of those moments. They felt like synchronicity, like reality had rearranged itself without you lifting a finger. That is the difference between forcing and collapsing. Forcing signals to the field, I don't trust this exists. I need to control it. I'm not enough without it. The field mirrors back scarcity, delay, and resistance. Collapsing signals, I already resonate with this outcome. I am coherent with it. I am it. The field mirrors coherence with synchronicity, alignment, and flow. The difference isn't what you do, it's what you broadcast. Here's the science beneath it. In quantum terms, the wave function describes all possibilities until observation collapses one into reality. But observation isn't just looking with your eyes. It's the total state of your consciousness. Your thoughts, emotions, physiology, and subtle energy fields all create a signal. And the collapse doesn't happen because you force it. It happens when your observation aligns coherently. That's when potential crystallizes into form. The HeartMath Institute has shown that when the heart and brain enter coherence, when emotion and thought synchronize, the electromagnetic field around the body becomes more ordered and extends more powerfully. This coherent field doesn't just affect your body. It interacts with the quantum field around you. Experiments have shown random systems becoming less random when exposed to human focus and intention. DNA unwinds or winds based on emotions. Water molecules change structure in response to energy and vibration. Over and over, the message is clear. Coherence collapses reality. Mystics have always known this. Tibetan monks practice meditations not to beg the universe for change, but to align their vibration so reality rearranges. Indigenous shamans dance, sing, and breathe their way into resonance with the vision they call into being. Hermetic teachings spoke of as within, so without, the understanding that inner state collapses outer form. You could call it magic, prayer, manifestation. But beneath the names, the mechanism is the same. So why isn't this taught in schools, in workplaces, in the places where people most need it? Because a population addicted to force is easy to control. If you believe success only comes through grinding, you will give your best energy to systems that exploit you. If you believe love requires chasing, you will remain in codependent patterns that disempower you. If you believe health comes only through punishing discipline, you will buy into endless external fixes. But if you knew the trick, that reality responds to alignment, not struggle, you would reclaim your power in an instant. This is why so many who stumble upon the quantum truth describe it as both liberating and destabilizing. At first, it feels almost impossible. You mean I've been wasting years of my life forcing results that could have flowed if I had simply aligned? But then comes the awe. You mean I don't have to fight anymore? I can trust that the field is listening. That shift is nothing less than an identity collapse, from victim of circumstances to observer collapsing reality. So let's ground this in some examples you might recognize in your own life. Imagine you're looking for a new job. Forcing looks like applying to 50 positions a day, stressing over every email, panicking when you don't hear back, carrying desperation into every interview. And what is the field mirror? More rejection, more silence, more missed connections. Collapsing looks like aligning your state first, broadcasting the frequency of the version of you who already has the opportunity. You visualize it, breathe it, embody the confidence and gratitude of already living it. Then you apply selectively, and synchronicities guide the process. The lucky break comes not from more force, but from clearer signal. Or think of love. Forcing looks like chasing, clinging, demanding, trying to manipulate someone into seeing your worth. And what is the field mirror? Relationships filled with imbalance, anxiety, and disappointment. Collapsing looks like becoming coherent with self-love, broadcasting wholeness, embodying joy and worth without needing another to complete you. From that place, the field reflects partners who resonate with that wholeness. The dynamic shifts because you no longer broadcast desperation. Or health. Forcing looks like punishing workouts, extreme diets, endless supplements, treating the body like an enemy that must be subdued. The field mirrors stress, burnout, and plateaus. Collapsing looks like coherence, aligning with gratitude for the body, feeding it with care, moving it with joy, broadcasting health rather than disease. And the field responds with healing, resilience, vitality. Over and over, the lesson repeats. When you force, you scatter the signal. When you align, you collapse reality. And yet, it's not about passivity. Don't mistake this for inaction. Alignment does not mean sitting on the couch and doing nothing. It means every action arises from coherence, not desperation. It means your doing is infused with being. The job application comes from a field of worthiness, not fear. The workout comes from a place of joy, not punishment. The conversation comes from a place of presence, not control. When action flows from coherence, the field amplifies it effortlessly. So here's the truth you may need to sit with. You've been conditioned to chase what is already trying to reach you. The quantum trick is to stop scattering the broadcast with force, and to tune into the signal, so the outcome collapses into your present. The things you desire are not distant. They are here, vibrating in potential, waiting for your frequency to call them into form. And this is the moment where the practice begins. It's not enough to understand this intellectually. You must feel it, live it, embody it. Which means in the next part of our journey, we'll go deeper into the tools, the ways to notice when you're forcing, and to shift instantly into alignment so collapse becomes inevitable. Because knowing the trick is one thing. Living it is where the magic begins. The first step to mastering this quantum trick is awareness. You cannot shift what you don't see. And most of the time, when you're forcing, you don't even realize it. You think you're just working hard, being persistent, doing what it takes. But if you slow down, you'll notice the frequency beneath the effort. You'll feel the contraction in your body, the tightness in your chest, the racing in your thoughts. First feels like grasping, like trying to drag the future toward you through sheer effort. Alignment feels like expansion, like stepping into the future that is already calling you. So the practice begins with noticing. Where am I forcing right now? Where am I gripping too tightly? Where am I trying to bend reality with willpower instead of collapsing it with coherence? One simple tool is the reality audit. Pause at any moment and ask yourself, what is the signal I'm broadcasting right now? Am I broadcasting lack, fear, frustration, desperation? Or am I broadcasting trust, wholeness, gratitude, coherence? If the signal is incoherent, don't panic, just shift. Awareness is the first collapse. How do you shift? One way is through the silent observer technique. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine stepping back from the struggle. See yourself as pure awareness, observing the situation without judgment, without grasping. In that silence, the noise of force dissolves. You reconnect with the version of you that is already whole. From this place, your signal clears instantly. The problem doesn't vanish, but your relationship to it does. You've moved from victim of circumstance to observer collapsing reality. Another tool is coherence breathing. Science shows that when you slow your breath to around 5 to 6 seconds in, 5 to 6 seconds out, while focusing on gratitude or love, your heart and brain synchronize. Your electromagnetic field expands, becoming ordered and powerful. In that state, the field around you shifts too. This is not imagination, it's measurable. And from this coherence, your signal becomes irresistible to the quantum field. The outcome you desire is no longer a distant possibility. It begins collapsing toward you. But here's the deeper practice. Embody the outcome before it arrives. Broadcast the frequency of the version of you who already has it. If you desire abundance, walk, breathe, and think as if abundance is your baseline reality. If you desire love, radiate the wholeness and joy of being loved now. If you desire healing, feel gratitude as if your body is already vibrant and strong. This is not pretending. This is aligning. And when your frequency matches the outcome, collapse is inevitable. And here's where the mystical awe enters. Because when you do this consistently, reality starts to wink at you. You see repeating numbers at uncanny times. You overhear a conversation that answers the question you were wrestling with. Someone calls you out of the blue with exactly the opportunity you were aligning with. You dream of a scenario that plays out in waking life the next week. These are not random. They are the field whispering. Keep broadcasting. Collapse is happening. The more you trust these signals, the faster coherence builds. It's like momentum. Every synchronicity is proof that the field is responding. Every wink from reality is feedback. And the more you notice, the stronger your signal becomes. Until the collapse is undeniable, and the outcome arrives with such clarity that you no longer question whether you created it. You know you did. But perhaps the most profound shift is at the level of identity. Because once you begin to live this way, you stop identifying as someone who forces results. You stop being the struggler, the chaser, the one who needs to grip life tightly. You step into the identity of the conscious creator, the broadcaster, the navigator of the field. You become the one who collapses reality through being, not through struggle. And that identity is magnetic. People feel it when you walk into a room. Opportunities gravitate toward it. Life organizes around it. And let's be honest, this is radical. It means taking responsibility for your broadcast. It means no longer blaming the world for withholding results, but asking yourself, what frequency am I sending? It means no longer outsourcing your power to systems, to luck, to chance, but owning the truth that your state is the dial of collapse. That is both liberating and terrifying. Because if you are the broadcaster, then every result is feedback. Every delay, every resistance, every flow is showing you your signal. And when you accept that, you move from victim to architect. But let me reassure you, this is not about perfection. You will fall back into forcing. You will slip into fear and scarcity. That is part of being human. The trick is not to avoid it forever, but to notice it quickly, shift, and return to coherence. Every time you do, the field responds with even greater clarity. Every time you remember, you strengthen the identity of the conscious creator. So let this sink in. You don't need to fight harder. You don't need to scream at the radio. You need to turn the dial. You need to align the broadcast. That is the quantum trick. That is how you collapse reality without struggle. And in the final part of this journey, we'll bring it all together. We'll explore how this shift transforms every dimension of life: love, money, health, creativity. And we'll end with a call to adventure that activates you as the broadcaster of your own destiny. Because the moment you master this trick, life stops being a battlefield and becomes a mirror. And once you see that reflection, you will never again waste your energy forcing what could flow. When you finally stop forcing and start collapsing, life begins to reorganize itself in ways that feel almost impossible to explain. The same world that felt like a relentless battlefield suddenly feels like a mirror that bends toward you. Nothing outside has changed, and yet everything has. Because you changed. Your frequency shifted. Your signal became coherent. And the field had no choice but to reflect it. Look first at love. Most of us have been taught to chase it, to force connection, to prove our worth, to cling in fear that it will slip away. That is force, and force always creates static. It creates relationships that mirror our desperation, our insecurity, our lack. But when you stop forcing, something extraordinary happens. You radiate love instead of chasing it. You embody worth instead of begging for it. And in that frequency, the field reflects back partners, friends, and connections who resonate with your wholeness. The games, the power struggles, the cycles of disappointment dissolve. Love finds you not because you begged for it, but because you became it. Now look at finances. Forcing looks like grinding endlessly, clawing your way through, working harder and harder without ever feeling secure. That is static. The broadcast of fear and scarcity creates more scarcity. But when you align with abundance, when you broadcast gratitude and coherence, when you stop gripping money with desperation, and instead allow yourself to flow with the energy of exchange, the field mirrors prosperity. Opportunities appear. Income flows in unexpected ways. The collapse happens not from force, but from resonance. Abundance becomes a natural consequence of your signal. Consider health. Forcing often shows up as punishment, diets of deprivation, workouts of exhaustion, self-talk that treats the body as an enemy. And what is the field mirror? Stress, illness, imbalance. But when you broadcast coherence through love, gratitude, and alignment, your cells reorganize. Your biology reflects your signal. Healing accelerates. Energy expands. Vitality returns. Health becomes not a war but a dance, a resonance between your inner state and the body that mirrors it. And creativity. Forcing creativity is a familiar pain, staring at the blank page, grinding through ideas, trying to force inspiration to arrive. And the harder you push, the emptier it feels. But when you let go, when you align, when you broadcast the frequency of curiosity, play, openness, ideas flow. Insights arrive in the shower, on a walk, in dreams. Creativity collapses not from force, but from coherence. Inspiration is not something you chase. It is something you tune into. Do you see the pattern? In every dimension of life, the story repeats. Force scrambles the signal. Alignment collapses reality. The field does not respond to your struggle. It responds to your coherence. And the moment you master this truth, life stops being random, unfair, or chaotic. It becomes a mirror, precise, intimate, responsive. And that mirror leads to the final, most powerful shift, the transformation of identity. Because once you know the trick, once you live it, you can no longer see yourself as the struggler, the chaser, the victim. You see yourself for who you are, the broadcaster, the observer, the conscious creator collapsing reality through your signal. This is the moment you claim radical responsibility. No more blaming the world. No more outsourcing your power. No more pretending you are at the mercy of luck or fate. You are the signal. You are the dial. You are the collapse. And here's the beauty. You don't have to wait years to feel this. You don't need perfect mastery. The shift begins the instant you stop forcing. The moment you notice the grip and release it, the field begins to respond differently. The moment you breathe into coherence, reality starts to organize. The moment you broadcast gratitude, synchronicities align. Collapse doesn't wait. It responds now. So take a breath. Right here, right now. Feel your body release the grip. Feel your heart synchronize with your mind. Feel gratitude rising, not for what you lack, but for what is already present. This is the signal. This is the trick. You are collapsing reality right now, in this very breath. And as you carry this truth into your life, remember, the universe is not listening to your force. It is listening to your frequency. It is not answering your struggle. It is answering your state. The only question is, what signal are you sending? If this journey stirred something in you, if you felt the resonance, then anchor it now. Leave a comment declaring your alignment, something as simple as I choose coherence over force, or I collapse reality with my signal. Subscribe, not as a passive act, but as a conscious choice to keep broadcasting with a community of creators. Because this space is a frequency in itself, and every time you tune in, you strengthen your signal. And if you're ready to go deeper, the next video is waiting for you. In it, we explore detachment, the secret that keeps your signal clear and untangled, the reason why letting go multiplies your power. If this video showed you the trick, the next one will show you the key to sustaining it. So I leave you with this: stop forcing. Start broadcasting. The field is not resisting you. It is waiting for you. The moment you shift, it collapses. And when you remember that, life will no longer feel like a battle. It will feel like a mirror. The mirror is waiting. The collapse is yours. The field is listening.